Hello, please. Are you ready now?
Yes.
Okay. Let the screen be shared.
Okay. Please confirm you can see my screen.
It's confirmed. Please make sure you enlarge it.
It's enlarged. So yeah, this session I'll be looking at AWS with here and how we can actually maximize it as a beginner and also CI/CD with GitHub Action. So how we can deploy to our cloud CI/CD tool as GitHub Action. I will just automate everything. So that's basically what we're going to be looking at in this session. So first is the AWS free tier. You have free tier. So as you can see, on July 15 this year, that's 2025, that's when AWS made some updates in their free tier. So they changed it from what used to be. Normally, what used to be is that you have one account. The moment you create an account like this, you give you a year, that's 12 months free tier. That free tier is there are some services, most majority of the services you'll be able to run it for free. You understand? And some for some hours. Some they they've changed everything in total actually. So now this is how it works because this is December. So this is what they are using currently. You have two type of account. First is free plan. That will be for free like 6 months. And another one is paid plan. So the moment you're signing up, you can either choose these two or it's recommended that you just start with the free. You understand? So you'll be given $100 credits the moment you sign up. They'll give you $100 credits. Then you can also earn an additional $100 by completing some certain activities, right? And this thing will last for 6 months. The $100 credit will be there for 6 months. If you do not use it, it's going to expire after that 6 months. It's gone. And if you use it and probably you used it up before that 6 months, then you start paying for whatever you use after that $100 has been exhausted, right? Then it actually has limited service access. That is, there are some specific service that you can run with this. You cannot run some big service. They can use super expensive services with this, like running a very large type of instance and stuff like that. You cannot run them with this. And then account close automatically after 6 months if not upgrade. So if you didn't upgrade your account to paid plan after that 6 months, they will close your account. That's not the new way of the operation. Then it's very perfect for learning, as you said, then students building proof of concept here. So within these 6 months, you can actually learn a lot without $100. You trigger, despite giving you that $100, there are still some services like we look into it is there are still some services that you are not paying for it at all. No matter except for some project, like if you had project that will make you go above that particular free usage that has been given, it's more likely that you have been doing like you are in production already. Probably you are deploying your startup or something with your accounts and you are claiming to be an individual. But for an individual, there are some things that you can't even go near, no matter what you wanted to run, like no matter the project is. So you look at it and then, so for the paid plan, you get $100 credits if you complete that task. If you didn't, you have that 100, right? So then you have full access to it, all AWS services. Like there is no limited to as there are no 6 month limits. Yes, there is no 6 month limit or any limit on services, and you'll be billed after the credits run out. So the moment whenever you get your whenever you use up your credits, that's when you start to be billed. AWS will start billing you. Then the accounts will never closes. That means after the 6 months, if you're on paid plan, so your account will be closed after 6 months. So it's actually very good for production application and serious projects. right? So something I know that we really need, that's when we just go for P plan. Yeah. And we have some services that they are always free. As you see, always free services. So it's available to everyone. So these services have monthly free limits forever. So it's their own these things, they just have monthly limit. That is what they can how you can use them within a month. So if you exceed that limit within a month, that's what you pay for it. After the month, by next month you still pay for another one. Like you will still give you that free that same free limit, right? So when you now exit that one too, you start paying for it. So as you can see, even after the 6 months, it has been set for the free plan. So this one is normal free. Now with the AWS Lambda, you have 4 million requests per month for AWS Lambda. The DynamoDB, Swifty, 25 gig of storage, right? Amazon S3, you have 5 gig standard storage. CloudWatch, 10 custom metric, 5 gig logs, and SNS, that's simple notification service. 1 million published, then simple queue service too. 1 million request. For code build, 100 build per minute, and more than 25 more services, right? More services like that. So if you wanted to use a particular service on AWS, it's a good practice for you to just like check it out. If AWS, if there's still some provision for it apart from that your $100 that's been given to you as a new user. You understand? So this is how you now get. The moment you sign up, you get $100, right? You just see there the coupon is there, it automatically applies to your account. And these are the tasks that you do, and if you complete it, then AWS will give you an additional $100. You launch your first instance. Like, they just want you to like get familiar with their this thing and learn some basic thing. Learn instance, use Amazon nowadays, that's relational database. You try AWS Lambda, like serverless server, right? Serverless application. Like if you wanted to run your serverless application, yeah, that's what you use. Serverless function. Then you set up AWS budgets, the billing alert, and Amazon Bedrock. So if you do all this, you give another $100. Then you will be able to use it for whatever you wanted to use. Then how long does the credit last? As you said, just 6 months. You can go exhausted or you finish using it, you use it up. That's how long it works. Then how can you now maximize your free tier as a beginner? So first is it advisable and recommended for you to start with free plan. Don't just go straight to paid plan. You go to paid plan and probably you forgot some certain things or you had issue with your this thing, everything will be built. So that one doesn't cost AWS. They'll bill you for that. So you don't have like you have zero risk of accidental charges. Yes, because it's free plan. So there is no accidental charges that can happen on your account. So you can't be billed until you upgrade. They won't bill until you upgrade to paid version, right? So that particular offering now is very perfect for learning. So you know that you are in saver zone. Not that in though that one in like the a year free trial that you normally used to do before, that one you still sign up with everything properly with your card, so you can still get billed. If you use some particular service that you're not supposed to use, yes, they can still bill you for it. But now that means you cannot get like they won't bill you accidentally for any reason except you're on paid plan, right? So paid plan, building production application, you need service that are not on free plan, and make sure that okay you already learn and understand how AWS cost works, understand and how you can just optimize the cost. So if you complete all these things like the tasks they will give you, activities that AWS promise that the moment you complete they'll give you another $100, $100 in credits, right? So by the time you're doing that you're already learning also, and after that you still you still get $1 like a credit in return. So just make sure that you use all those free services when possible, like all those S3 buckets and stuff like that. Just make sure that you use them. So instead of using paid service, use always free alternative like EC2 instance. Instead of just running EC2 instance 24/7, yes, you can use Lambda. Maybe you have 1 million requests free. So you can use Lambda instead of just running EC2. The same way you can deploy application on EC2, yes, you can deploy it on Lambda too. So it's only charge you for whatever your application run. and it's very good for all the application that has to do with workload that will just do some certain things like that's not running forever. You understand? Probably application that you just need to probably calculate some certain things for a particular time, then leave it for like a worker and stuff like that. So it's very good for that. So the address also you can use DynamoDB instead of using address, and base storage just use S3 5 gig forever. Then now, this is very crucial, the billing alert. So the moment you open your account, right, you get in, make sure that you go to AWS console, search for billing, then check the body, click on budgets, create budgets, you can type it in. Then I would suggest that you just just put the amount, probably you know your pocket, right? You know how much you can afford without feeling somehow. So you can if the 10 is okay for you, no problem. Even if it's just $1, you can just put it there, like make it $1. You understand? Any amount depends on you that oh, if I thought if I still charge this thing, okay, if my spending on AWS is going near this particular offering, then stop me, right? So this alert threshold is not that you will be the one to also include the money. The moment you include, you just added the threshold will ask for a percentage, right? The moment you include the percentage, that means the moment your offering reach the 80% of $1, it will send an alert to you that you are exceeding your limit. Do you understand? Then because you input your email, so you send it to that email. It can be multiple, it might not be one. So you send it to all the emails that oh you're exceeding your limit, you're exceeding your limit. And if you know you're capable enough and probably you're running a production trade stuff, and probably if you know that oh, my own requirement to spend a lot on AWS. So before I can feel somehow the amount of money I'm spending on cloud, maybe around $1,000, and you can even create multiple, not even only once. Understand? You can have multiple. Yeah. So before you're spending, even like before you even get to that dollar, like to that limit that you set, you'll be sent an alert the moment you reach this threshold. Then these are the strategy that you need to use to save your cost, right? All the services that you're not using, make sure you stop them. All the services, make sure you stop them whenever you're not using them. So and easier like your Elastic Container Registry, make sure that the old images that you push there that you know you're not using, please delete them all. Make sure you delete them. So the recent ones, probably 1, 2, 3, it's enough, or probably the current version and its updates. You understand? Because if you are building in production environments, definitely you need to be tagging your application so as to be able to track your changes. So at times your version might remain the same. So far the changes is not really like it's not that big change. Understand? And even there are some that will just be few if it's minor change. So minor the minor too can just remove everything. There's no so far you tested out the current image is working that you have is working. You can remove the rest so as to save your cost. Right. Then you make sure you monitor your spending by going to the billing dashboard, check your free tier, what you use, what's remaining, and all the services that are incurring your charges. You see everything there. All the data, yes, all the data transfer also, everything you see it there. Then these are some common mistakes that actually waste credits, especially for beginners. You understand? So launching ECS service and forget about it. So anything that has to do with forgetfulness, please, even if it requires to pray against it on cloud, please do. Because it seriously, if you are saying it like this, it seems it's funny. But when it happens, that's when you understand that oh, this is no joke. There are a lot of people out there that they woke up to a very big debt on AWS. Very big debt on AWS. And one of it is majority of them too that are falling into this particular issue. Majority of them they don't have their budget set, the billing budget, they don't have it set. If you have your billing budget set to oh, you have it set to probably $10. So for any reason, if your amount that you're spending is going to around $100 or even more, you'll be receiving serious alert that you've exceeded your budget, right? Even before you exceed your budget, you'll be receiving different kind of alert. But these people, they don't. You just leave it there, forget everything about it. You probably just close their account. You're working on one particular application on one day, and the moment you see that everything tested, like the moment you test it and everything is, for example, now you know you've given some kind of practice question to do, like homework, right? You have to do on your own. So, for example, you just go ahead on AWS, you finish your project, and the moment you test it and everything works, you're so happy. You're like, oh wow, then let me go and sleep. Then you close your account without deleting all the services that you use, for example, right? So, you just leave it there like that. Next day, you go on with another thing, you forgot about it. Like, you just forget about it. And so, next time, probably in a few months, yeah, you're in need of AWS again, or you need something I wanted to do on AWS. You felt, oh, you have an account. Then you go ahead and check your account. When you got there, you see that, wow, you're now a debtor of like around probably $500 or more. So that's when you understand that, oh, this thing is a very serious stuff. So make sure that you stop everything when you're not testing. So, and delete all the images, old images that you're not using, delete them. Then don't use large instance types when creating EC2, right? So T3 micro is okay, and it's even free tier eligible. At least it's under that free plan. Uh-huh. So what one next? Then not setting a budget alert. Yeah, that's a very big mistake. First thing you should do on your AWS account is just set your budget. Have your alert there that will alert you if your money is going, and make sure you use very active email that you know that if anything comes in, you see it there. So that's the kind of email that is expected to use. Then install a amount of data, just storing large amount of data more than what you actually need. You understand? So it's not a good use. Just make sure that you store what you need to store, and just clean up test data regularly. If you are testing, just make sure you are actually clean everything up. So to make this, I just make sure you check all these things. And so this thing is actually very important to your multi-factor authenticator. It's very important. Make sure you set it. So you can just while you create your account, this just you don't necessarily follow this. Exactly. These are things that you can finish within a week if you want to follow it. You understand? So now let's go to introduction to CI/CD. So when they say CI/CD, you see the CI there is continuous integration. That is, automatically integrate something, it automatically you test the code, or you the moment you push to GitHub, you test the code, you catch bugs early. That is, any bugs that's inside the code, you filter them and you get them early. You check, you scan through, you see everything, and you ensure the code actually works before deploying, right? So that's continuous integration. Then continuous deployment is automatically deploy your code when tests, the moment your test has passed, right, you deploy them, then no manual deployment step. You just deploy everything automatically. Then you push to GitHub and everything is live in minutes. So this the CD there too might also means delivery. The delivery it's just con like constant and continuous provision of releasing your application to your customer. That's what the delivery there is. It might be instead of saying CI/CD continuous execution, continuous deployment, might continuous execution, continuous delivery. But no, ideally they use deployment. But in case you see it anywhere, just know that okay, this is what they actually mean. So why CI/CD matters is without this CI/CD now. So all what we did in 2 and 3, the session 2 and 3, code changes, everything that we do locally, you build locally, push to this manually, everything. So you just be repeat everything for every change. Alright, for every changes I have like this, we'll be repeating that same thing for everything, which is not, it's not a good practice when it comes, especially as a DevOps engineer, cloud engineer. You need to know how to automate. That's the first thing to come to your head. How do I automate this task? How do I automate this to save time, save cost, right? To save resources also. So in CI/CD, you make your the moment you make your code changes locally, push to GitHub, everything happens automatically. Then everything your code is live in minutes. So introduction to GitHub Action. GitHub Action is just one out of all the CI/CD tools that we have out there. AWS have their own CI/CD tool. That's AWS pipeline. It's comprised of AWS code build. They have code build in it. They have code deploy. They even have something that you can store your code with. That's code. They have code deploy, code commit. So that code commit is just like GitHub. The same way you have your repository on GitHub that you save your code there, yes, you can push your code directly to AWS. So if you want to be running AWS for your application fully from your computer to live, you can do that if that's what you wish. Like, or if that's your company's requirement, you can do that. So it's very very possible if you don't want to use GitHub at all. So GitHub Action, it free automation tool, and one of the reasons why particularly I actually love GitHub Action is that it's somehow seamless. You can easily integrate it to different tools, like different tools. Just think of it. You can use GitHub Action to carry out many apps, anything that has to do with GitHub. You can just use it to automate it. Just take of it, you can automate it from GitHub Action, and even all the tools, all the integrations being done, direct to AWS, any messaging app, you can use GitHub Action to automate everything. And if you are using GitHub to store your code, GitHub Action is very, very close to your code more than any other tool, right? So it's a free automation tool built into GitHub. So the key concept is you have the workflow. Yes, these are the key stuff that you'll be seeing when you are writing the YAML file. So you have the workflow there. So you automate the process like build and deploy, right? So you divide the YAML file, define it there. You have the trigger. The trigger might be push, probably might be okay on push to main branch. That is, this trigger means what would trigger the workflow to run. You understand? Might be on schedule or any other one. Then the job. The job itself is what this thing will do. So the sets of steps that run together. And the step, individual tasks, build, test, deploy. So you put everything under the step. The runner itself. You can just the server that runs your workflow. That's one runner is yes. So majority of time you use GitHub or you use Ubuntu rather. Majority of time. So you have free runners. You can use self-host also, or ideally, except you need some kind of requirement. So majority of time I've been using Ubuntu personally because it's sufficient for my project. So this is how the directory will look like. We already have this. We have these three. So in that our repo, we create this file github.github. Then we have workflow inside it, the workflows. Then inside workflows, that's where we now have our file, our YAML file. So the YAML file is the name deployed with YAML, right? So inside it, then okay, so if you wanted to set this thing up now, go to GitHub repository, you create this. I'm coming, let me see if I can just, if you can do this so that I can push to GitHub and then though, if you didn't add all the, coming, let's see if you can just create, that's simple. Let me use Flask ML app. Yeah, let's use this. Make it public. Then here, let me. If you are not, if you are new to GitHub, which I don't really expect. So this is how to create a repository on GitHub also. If you want me to be there, you will activate it. Let's check. Let me see if you have Redmi now. Could we have it there? Don't let me stress myself adding anything. So that's very easy for us. Just link it. So we create a repo. Yes. Now we create repo. Let's run this command in our code. Okay. I'm not sure you can see my screen for code, but I'll later share it. Let me just run the command. And I wanted to push. Okay. Um, yeah. So then this. Then we link it to the remote. The moment I push it, you see the changes there. You come in then. Yeah. So I've pushed it to the repository now. Let me restart. Let me reload. You see the files here now. Yeah. So here are the files. We have all the files. So this is the readme file. The readme file is meant to display to show everything. Probably we have the step by step to run the application. You see this just 1 minute ago. I just push it now. So now as this thing is instructing us to do, so this is what we do: create a GitHub folder, then workflow, then deploy the HTML, right? So this is what we create now. I'll push everything to, let me see, I get to where we could copy everything that's inside this. Okay, yeah. Mm, and workflows. Yeah, so now let me copy all this so that I can push down to GitHub also. So it soon be, yes, let's refresh again. Yeah, so it's here now. Do for network. As you can see, the moment I push to GitHub, this sign indicate that something is pending. That is, the workflow is now running. So this workflow will definitely fail, but we just get to see how it looks like. You understand? So that in case when you wanted to do your own, the moment you input all the necessary secrets, secrets, wherever you wanted to input it, you see everything there. And how you're going to go about that? Let's check under the action. Now let's first see the code itself. So let's just see the code itself. So this is how the code looks like. This is how the code looks like. These branches means the moment you push the trigger, trigger this on push to this branch. You understand? If you want to be branches, you cannot include it there. It's comma, everything will work. But if you have another branch now that is different from me, if you push to it, it will automatically trigger this particular workflow. You understand? Uh-huh. So the environment that we need is all these things. These are the things that we will need when you are when you're building an application then now when you're deploying to AWS. So you have your region, these are repository that you've created already, it's ACS, the name, you understand? Just input it here. The ACS cluster, name, everything. You put it there, then you deploy, you use your runtime. That's Ubuntu latest. Right. So you check out the code, and configure AWS credentials. So you can see there are a lot of different let me say packages that people have actually written that works so well. Like this one now, it's someone that actually wrote that like AWS action, right? So and at times if you run some particular if you see some particular package that is that you wanted to use and probably you're having issue, just try and navigate to them. Just add github.com in front of this. Then you see the repo. Probably there might be new changes in this version. There might be a new version that the old one is depreciated. That's why it's fading. Understand? Then you have this under your secret. So the secret, I'll show you where the secret is. Then all the okay, everything here we've added down earlier. The image tag also. The image tag, so this thing will be automatically handled by the unique ID for each build, for each image build. So remember all the commands that were running manually then. So you just add it, you add them here. Can you see? Here are the tags definition. All the tags definition, everything, you pull it inside the tags definition JSON, right? Then you update the tags definition. Next, you update the tags definition, all the necessary all the requirement thing like container ports, the name, image, you put everything there. And then you deploy to ECS rather. So this what you use to deploy to ECS. The moment you use this, it will definitely wait for you, and then it will see this thing, wait for service stability. That is to confirm that the application is running before telling you that oh this thing is okay, right? So the moment you wait for it to confirm oh this thing is running, then it not deploy the deployment will now print this. Like this echo will just normal print in bash scripting, right? And YAML also. But this one now, this bash scripting just writes scripts inside the using this run. If you want to run more than one command, the moment you push this straight line here, you can have more commands and like as many commands as you want. You understand? But if it's only one, you can just put it directly in front of that one. Ah, so now let me show you. If you wanted to add your secrets, all these secrets that you're seeing, you come here under the settings here. You go under the settings, you go here like this, secret and variable, then you click on actions. Then you see, so you have environment secrets, repository secrets. So add it. New repository, you see it. So the secret name. So all those names, that's where you put them here. All those names like let's see, like all this like this AWS region. For example, AWS region. You put the AWS region here. Then remember AWS region, we have US East one, right? US East one, like this. Then you add the secret. So it means you have that secret like that. So if I run the build, it's still going to fail because I've only added one. But for this particular step in the so it will seem insignificant. You understand? But this one will not fail again because the moment it checks, it sees something there that oh, there is a key for this. So now let's check how why this thing failed. Get the commit message. Let's just 6 seconds. So can you see? You cannot be able to configure the credentials. So everything can you see? It said input required and not supply AWS region. You know that AWS region was the first thing there. You understand? So if I run this thing now, you see, is the next thing that this thing will complain about. That's repository, ACR repository. The ACR repository, that's what is going to make this thing fail because you actually run it step by step too. Now let's check. That one will not fail again. You see. Yes. So if you notice, it's telling us AWS SDK. So there is nothing that has to do with AWS. That has to do with the region again. So here now, let's see, credentials cannot be loaded. So please check your action input. So that particular region now is no more there because it has been added, right? So all the steps will run one by one. These are the steps that we have in our configuration. These are the reason you actually list them here. Once everything is success, then you see green. That means this thing has been their code has been deployed to AWS automatically. So in the subsequent time, the moment you are making any configuration, any new update like this, you just only need to push your code straight to GitHub. And the moment you push it to GitHub like this, it will automatically deploy for you. So that's so for you to be able to verify the deployment also just check your service public IP. Can also use AWS console, like go to your AWS console to confirm that oh, this thing is working. So the workflow, the code that we use, you understand. So you can just go through this thing to understand it very more, like to understand it more. You see that the way this thing check out codes, when you see check out code means it's like you wanted to really understand, you're using Ubuntu as runtime. The moment you use Ubuntu as runtime, it will first check out the code. So it will have installed some particular needs for you that your code needs. It will automatically install it for you. So that when you are running your application, it will run it without telling you that oh you don't have Python installed, oh you don't have this one installed, except some particular thing that you need to install yourself. You understand? So there are some particular stuff that AWS have actually provided them for you that you don't need to handle yourself again. So AWS will what's it called? GitHub Action will have do that for you automatically. Um okay. Yeah, so next is the credentials. Just configure AWS credentials. I have said just add all the credentials, the necessary credentials, do add it there. Your ACR, the name, then everything. So the moment you have it, all these things will be able to run successfully. All the codes, like all the checkout codes using, all the action codes, yes, everything will check out. And for Docker, you'll be able to log in to push to your ECR and all these things. Same way you are doing for AWS, you can do it for any other cloud platform too. You can only automate deploying this thing to what's it called, Docker Hub. You understand? The only thing you need is just look for the action that will work with Docker Hub. You look for, you see, if you notice this AWS action, then you have Amazon ECR login. So, eh, do- so Amazon ECR login version 1. That means this one is still at version 1. It will help you log in. The moment you provide your, this thing already have some embedded codes. You understand? It automatically just run them. And then um for application like this, for example, if this thing happens to be an application, right? And you know, majority of time, not every time with what's it called? And your server will be, your customer will be needing some things like this. Like even majority of people might not even log into their ACR today at all because probably they didn't release any application. So one of the best service that you can use for this is like serverless because it's only just log in at one particular time and stop the work. The moment you log in, has complete his work, waiting for another time whenever you want to log in. So best service for that one is serverless. You understand? So just build your image, push to ECR, and that's the nation of everything be handled. So if you now want to go a little bit further, yes, so you can decide to add testing before deployment. So while you're testing, you test your code, you put there that, oh, Python version, you confirm this. Let me change it to the one that we later use. Right, I need to update this one, so I've forgotten. So you later remain our code, you later update from 3.9 to 3.11. Yeah, so that's why I'm updating that too. In case you wanted to test. So just use PyTest to test it, to install and test your code. So to check if you don't have any issue, then you make sure that you already write the test. Right. So this is what I'm saying about run the other time. So if you wanted to run one particular command, you don't have to put this sign here. If you are running multiple commands, then instead of you to use run, then still copy another run. You need to put this slash like this straight line. Yeah, I don't know what kind of type of character it is actually. So the moment you put it there, to be able to run as much as command that you wanted to run at once. Then you deploy to EC2, deploy the code to the EC2. Then you can also add Slack integration, Discord, mention it, Team, Microsoft Teams, any type of messaging application you're using, you can add them. The important thing is for you to just know the webhook, how to connect it. You understand? So for Slack now, just get your webhook URL and then you add it to that secret. When you add it to the secret, you call it here. And the moment you call this, it's able to tell you that, oh, deployment success. If you have your deployment successful on this particular stuff, and you can go ahead and modify it. You can even integrate this thing to confirm that, oh, do you want your application to deploy? Like that's what I've actually did. I've did it over time too. So there's this fintech company that was working with them that if for any updates, if you wanted, there are some, especially for all our backend codes, before you deploy it, you need to approve the deployment on Slack. So the moment the developer push to GitHub, you might not be there when they push to GitHub, but you'll get notified on your this that okay, they wanted to deploy now. The moment they want to deploy, you just that deployment it's only on the main branch that will have the deployment that one will run. So if you are still testing on their other branches, no problem. They can push as much as you want. But so far, do you see them that they match, they create what's the copy out and it got matched. You know that oh, they are ready to deploy this thing. Then once you see all it in on Slack, you can just approve or reject. You understand? So and before that, there will be a lot of testing that can confirm that, oh, this thing, you can just approve it. You understand their results. Then you can also have multiple environments, like you have production, staging, so everything you can have it there if you want it there. So if you are specifying production, everything just be changing to production standards and staging, okay, for you to be able to stage your tests and thereabout. So you'll be able to change from different environment also. Then if you're not, let's not see some troubleshooting because there is nothing that comes without its own problem also. Right? So if you have all this workflow fails, right? So as our own is failing, basically we didn't finish the configuration, right? So that's why it's failing. So basically here is what we here is where we actually fail. So we not look credential from any providers. So just check your GitHub secret. If you notice, this is exactly what we are getting, right? If, when we didn't load our secrets completely, right? So this is the same thing we're also getting. Make sure you don't have space in the secret name because if you have it, this thing will understand as a character also, as a letter on its own. So I don't put any underscore, any slash that's not part of what you include in your code. You understand? For the um for the variable name itself, the secret name. Yeah. So make sure the values are actually correct. Just you might just go and regenerate the WSK if needed. To probably if you've tried a lot of ways and you're unable to get in. It might be that your code, your key has been contaminated. You understand? Maybe you've mistakenly added one key or something. It might happen. So if it's now failing at CCR, also just make sure to confirm your token has not expired. You understand? Or you can just go ahead and regenerate the ECR login workflow. You understand that? So the EC2 also, if it fails, that means the EC2 the name might not match with the one that's the one you have on AWS might not match with the one you input to GitHub action secret. So for this one also ECS cluster, the secrets if it matches the actual class name, then you don't have to you're not expected to have any issue with that. But if it doesn't, just make sure you confirm. And one thing about this thing is, then let me tell you also, the moment you input the secret also, you cannot see the secret again. You can only see the what's it called, the variable, not the secret itself. For GitHub action, then I input, I input, it's either you delete or you edit. I input US is one. If you want to edit now, let's see. Can you see the value? There is no value here again. So that means it's a secret. So if you want to update, that means you either wanted to just update it from that, and if you don't, so it's not something that probably after you've updated your code, someone can just easily access your laptop and then come and check your this thing quickly like that. No. So if you wanted to update, just add it like or yes to one. So this is how you update to access to. Okay. Um. Yeah. So that's that about that. And yeah, let's go back to this. So when deployment also succeed, but the old version is still running. That is what this one is telling us is okay, you deploy your application, you see that everything was smoothly, right? But on your new code, you expected to see something like version 2. Maybe you've made an update. That okay, version 2 on your app. But when you deploy, you still see that okay, so this is the version 1 that's still running. That means the version 1 that's still in production. The version 2 just finished build, but it has not been got in the production, right? So you just come back and make sure you force the new deployment so that you can just remove that one, the old version. You can just remove it there. So GitHub also have their own free tier. So basically, this one, if you don't also like, if you don't also wanted to make you are not the type that wanted to just waste resources. I don't think there is something you wanted to run that requires to go above this, right? And if you can take out GitHub plan also, so their pro version is not really much. But at least for learner, their free is very, very okay. So their free is very, very okay. So you don't have to worry about being on free. be a free user, right? On free plan. You don't have to worry about it at all. Everything I wanted to do, be able to carry it out, to test everything very well. So yeah, the public repo is actually unlimited. So if you are running GitHub Action on public repo, it's unlimited. It's only on private repo that it's somehow limited. Yeah. Then so these are ways that you monitor your CI/CD. You make sure that you continue to check, right? Whenever you see red, just know that it's fail. If you see circle, that yellow circle, just know that oh, this thing is still running, still in pending. Green, everything is success. Success, it's the success, right? So if you wanted to view the detailed logs also, it's available. You can just check here as we did earlier. If you come here, uh, you see. So this is exactly what we do. Just come here. So here is the log. See the can see the log, everything to log it here. So log is very very important in troubleshooting. Very important because it will make you understand why things go wrong and what happened for it to actually go wrong. Where to be able to fix, what you need to do. You will see all that in log, right? So next is probably yes. If you wish, you can also add badge, right? You can also add badge. That is the deployment badge will display if it's success, if it running, or if it has failed. Understand? You can just put that. Change your distance to your own username. Then you put your application. Then it to display it. So the cost AWS approximately it's free. Let me say approximately it is free. Everything that you're running on GitHub Action, approximately it's free. So, because if you go through this thing, you also understand what I mean by it's free. Yeah. So for AWS cost also, these are the cost. Yeah. This is the cost, everything that you pay for that. If you are on paid plan, but if you are on free plan and you not exceed your credit, so you can still enjoy. Then some best practice, one of it is brand protection, right? So the brand protection is this. For example, you are already working in group, but make sure that you have one particular brand that oh you know that this brand is where you're deploying from. You just protect it that okay, this thing is just probably only for your other members and everyone cannot even push there. If you're willing to push to take permission from you, probably as the head or as the lead or the prayer manager, then okay, you know that oh, you have to take permission or you'll be the only one that's going to match code there after you've reviewed what the developer actually wrote. You understand? So you and so that's that about it. So you the moment you protect it, yes, it actually block direct pushes. It's the developers will be able to push directly to main again. They have to create P request, like pull request, and then send you that oh, we have a pull request, then you be the one to now merge it together. Then environment specific secrets, you can have deployment, still in production, so and you have different secrets for them. You understand? And basically that's what this thing means. For deployment, you have separate secret for it. For production, you have separate secret for it. For staging two, you have separate secret for it. But you cannot be using the same an exact thing at a time for all different production node. You need to be able to test isolatedly, test the application on an isolated environment here, test it, isolated environment, and make sure that push some to production. You know, majorly when we say application is scaling, majority we are talking about production. Development don't have any reason to scale because you're working on this thing particular on your what's it called? Yeah, it's a place where you showcase whatever you're working on. So it's only you, the developers or the team that's going to access in that particular application. So you don't have any reason to prepare for scaling on that, right? So The only reason you have to prepare for it is probably if you wanted to manage the code to production. You can just write it there and test it there. Then you now push it to production to go and perform its work. Then for version, yeah, so for version into this is how you tag GitHub. You can just use this tag. The moment you tag like this, you tag, then you push it the same way you push code. Same way you push code is the way you just push it and everything will go. Push or even if you just use tag, push tag, like push flag tag, it will go to without specifying the origin v and mentioning the version itself. So if you use git push flag tags, yeah, you add s, then it will go. All the tags that you've add will get pushed to GitHub. Then you can also deploy some specific version to production. Yes. Then the rollback strategy also is very important. You have manual approval for production environment, you say that. Then make sure you have rollback strategy so that you don't get into issue. When you add that, oh, this application is down, that application is down, this application so is down. So what can actually save you time is for you to have proper rollback settings. Rollback simply means, okay, if you are running an app, if you release an update now, for example, and you notice that the moment you release the update, you start getting feedback from users that, oh, we are having issue to do this, to do that. And you know that you are trying to make the application better by working on adding a new feature. You understand? But now it's affecting the previous features that the user are currently using. So the best way for you to fix that at that current time is just to roll back to the previous one that's working properly. After you now roll back, then go back to that one and fix it, get it fixed, make sure you fixed, put it on stage, ask some people to test it out for you, then you now roll it back again. So that's how you do stuff. Then you make sure you keep your secret minimal also. Make sure you stop wherever is needed and some credentials, make sure you rotate them. At least delete, recreate, change them. Understand your tokens, make them expire. Is the other one. So and make sure you use IAM rules when possible so as to save you cost. So you see the assignment here that you can do. Assignment one, set up the CI/CD to check the AWS free tier, right? And documentation aspect is just for you to like the um steps to run this thing locally. Write it in your README file. Then how to deploy. So you follow your own particular deployment stuff to explain to us how to deploy environment variable and all. Then these are the core summary of everything that we've did. And yeah, so the sources for AWS free tier is this. You can go to this directly on AWS. Then AWS provide the calculator for you. So if you calculator.aws, you will see that it's used to calculate AWS services, right? How much they charge per hour and the likes. So check for particular application that, oh, but particular service rather that, okay, this service, how you arrange for this particular hour, how much you like charged, okay, is it we have free tier, is he eligible for free tier and thereabout. So that's how that works. And yeah, come to the end of the class. Please if you have question, please ask. I have a question session now. It's questions. I believe you cannot hear me.
Yes.
Okay. Please, if you have question, please ask. No question.
Okay. The class is ended, right? Oh,
Yeah.
is there any question? Is there any question, please?
We, some of us are not asking. Some of us are not asking because the journey is still far.
All right.
Sorry, I can't get that. What do you say?
And some of us are not asking because the journey is still far. Oh.
So it's
Maybe
no,
when you
it's
go
not
through, when you go through the video and the files, you
that.
understand it more.
Yes.